Hi all, this is Yunus. Welcome to my channel. We know that S3 has multiple storage classes and S3 standard would be the costliest in terms of storage cost, whereas it is absolutely free when it comes to retrieval cost. But when you go to other storage classes such as S3 standard infrequent access, storage cost may be 50% of standard, but there are considerable retrieval costs. So here in this video, I'll take three use cases where I'll compare two buckets, one in which the objects are following S3 standard and the other bucket in which the objects are stored using standard infrequent access, and based on the frequency of access, how the overall annual cost varies. And there are some surprising findings. Let's begin. As mentioned, this video is about comparison between two storage classes of S3, S3 standard versus S3 standard infrequent access. As you all know, storing data in infrequent access tiers is about 50% cheaper than in standard tier. However, the read request charges for infrequent access tiers is significantly more than the standard tier. So let's look at three different use cases and see how much is the price difference and which is cost effective in which scenario. So let's take three use cases, but the base assumptions are you have 2000 objects in your bucket. Each object is of size 1 GB and your colleague also has 2000 objects in his bucket. Each object is of size 1 GB. You decided to store the objects in S3 standard and your colleague decided to store the objects in standard infrequent access. Now let's take three different cases and see in each of these cases which one is more cost effective with respect to the annual cost. So this is the first use case, 2000 objects in the bucket, each object is of 1 GB and each object is accessed once per quarter. So in your case you have gone for S3 standard and the storage cost is coming to $0.023 per month for 2000 objects for 12 months. So this is the total cost. And when you request for reading the data, accessing the object, there is a charge of $0.0004 per object, and we are multiplying it with 4 because we want to find the annual cost. Per quarter you are accessing it once, so 4 times in a year. Total cost is 3.2, totally $555. Whereas in case of standard infrequent access, the storage is only 50% almost. You can see that here, $0.0125 per object per month into 12 months equal to $300. And when you raise the request, read request, you have to pay 0.001. Okay, that is more than here, you can see that. So finally you will end up paying $8 instead of 3.2 here. And now retrieval, request is different, retrieval is different. For retrieval you have to pay $0.01 for each object. And since you are going to access the data 4 times in a year, you have to multiply it with 4. So 2000 into $0.01 into 4 to get the annual cost, it is 80. So totally 388. So in this particular use case, your friend wins because you end up paying $555, whereas he will pay only $388. Now let's see another use case. In this case, the only difference is that each object is accessed once per month. Okay. Then here there is no change. Storage cost is same. But request cost instead of 4 here earlier, 12 times you are accessing per year each object. So you have to multiply it with 12. So 9.6, totally $561. Here storage cost is same, but request cost again you have to multiply it with 12 because every month you are accessing each object once. So finally you will end up paying $24. But the huge difference comes here that the retrieval cost is $0.01 per object per month or per access. So since you are going to access 12 times in a year, you have to multiply that amount with 12. So finally you get 240. And you can see that it is slightly more than your standard storage class. Okay, so here you are almost equal, but your friend has to pay at least $2.4 more. Now let's see the third use case. Here the object is accessed once per day and that makes a huge difference. Look at here, the standard storage cost doesn't change and storage cost here for standard infrequent access also doesn't change. But request cost, because you are accessing it 365 days, you have to multiply it with 365. 2000 objects into $0.004 per object per access into 365 because you will access it 365 times. So finally you will pay $292. Totally $844. Now here if you compare, storage cost is same as previous use cases. Request cost, it has increased to 730. See a huge difference here, 292 versus 730. Then retrieval cost, huge difference. Because every day you are accessing this. So you have to pay $7,300 more. So it is almost 10 times. So that's a huge difference. Okay, so from this use case, we can see that the frequency of access of your objects largely determines cost. Maybe you can use S3 intelligent tiering so that it can automatically determine which storage class is most appropriate for any given object. Okay, so that's it from this short video. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll come back with more useful videos soon. Thank you.